Hey there, welcome back to Dawn Catalyst. I'm so glad you've joined me today. Have you ever felt like you're constantly starting over with your habits? Maybe you've tried to exercise regularly, meditate daily, or drink more water, but after a week or two, you're back to square one. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're diving into something that completely changed my approach to habit formation: habit stacking. It's a powerful technique that can help you build sustainable habits that actually stick around for the long haul. And the best part? It's surprisingly simple. Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. What's one habit you've been trying to establish for a while but haven't been able to maintain consistently? Think about that for a moment. Keep it in mind as we go through today's discussion, because by the end of this video, you'll have a practical plan to finally make that habit stick. Habit stacking works because it leverages something your brain already does well: following established routines. Instead of trying to create entirely new behaviors out of thin air, we're going to attach new habits to existing ones. Think of it as building a bridge between what you already do automatically and what you want to start doing regularly. What is habit stacking? So, what exactly is habit stacking? In simple terms, habit stacking is the practice of adding a new habit directly after an existing one. The formula is straightforward. After I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will do 10 push ups. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 3 minutes. After I sit down at my desk, I will write down my top 3 priorities for the day. This approach was popularized by James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits, but the concept has been around in behavioral psychology for years. Scientists call it implementation intentions, specifying the exact when and where you'll perform a behavior. What makes habit stacking so effective is that it eliminates decision fatigue. You're not relying on motivation or willpower to remember to do your new habit. Instead, you're using the momentum of an existing habit, something you already do without thinking, to trigger your new behavior. Think about your morning routine. You probably don't have to consciously decide to brush your teeth when you wake up. You just do it automatically. Habit stacking uses these automatic behaviors as triggers for new habits you want to develop. Let me share how this worked for me. For years, I struggled to establish a daily meditation practice. I'd try to meditate first thing in the morning, but I'd often forget or get distracted by other morning tasks. Then I tried habit stacking. I realized I always make a cup of tea in the morning, it's non negotiable. So I decided, after I put the kettle on, I will sit and meditate for 5 minutes while the water boils. Suddenly, meditation became part of my automatic routine. The act of putting the kettle on became my cue to meditate. The science behind habit formation. To understand why habit stacking works so well, let's briefly explore the science of habit formation. According to research, habits follow a four-part cycle. 1. Cue, a trigger that initiates the behavior. 2. Craving, the motivation or desire for the reward. 3. Response, the actual habit or action you perform. 4. Reward, the benefit you gain from doing the habit. The genius of habit stacking is that it explicitly defines the cue. It's the completion of an existing habit. Your brain already has strong neural pathways associated with your current habits. When you stack a new habit on top of an existing one, you're essentially piggybacking on those established neural pathways. There's also something called the habit loop that neurologists have identified. When you repeat a behavior enough times, your brain begins to automate it to conserve energy. This is why you can drive home from work while thinking about something else. Your brain has automated the routine. But here's the challenge with creating new habits: they require conscious effort until they become automatic. Studies suggest it takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days for a new behavior to become automatic, with an average of about 66 days. Habit stacking accelerates this process by connecting new behaviors to established automatic ones. Let me give you a real-life example. My friend Sarah wanted to read more books. She tried setting reminders on her phone, but she'd just swipe them away. Then she tried habit stacking. She realized she always has a cup of tea before bed, so she started placing a book next to her teapot. Her formula became, after I make my evening tea, I will read at least 2 pages of my book. 6 months later, she's read 15 books using this simple strategy. How to identify your current habit, LOOPS. Before you can effectively use habit stacking, you need to identify your existing habit loops. These are the perfect foundations for your new habits. take a moment to think about your daily routines. What are the things you do every day without fail? I'm talking about the non negotiables in your life, behaviors so ingrained that you barely think about them. Common examples include morning routines, waking up, brushing teeth, showering, making coffee or tea. Work routines, checking email, logging into your computer, having lunch. Evening routines, coming home, changing clothes, cooking dinner, watching TV. Transition moments, arriving at work, leaving work, before meals, after meals. Try this exercise. For one day, carry a small notebook or use a notes app on your phone. Each time you catch yourself doing something automatically, write it down. You might be surprised at how many automatic behaviors you have. I did this exercise myself and discovered I have about 15 strong daily habits that occur at roughly the same time each day. These became potential anchors for new habits I wanted to build. For instance, I realized I always check my phone first thing in the morning. Not ideal, I know. So I stacked a new habit. After I check my phone in the morning, I will drink a full glass of water. Now, months later, I automatically reach for water after looking at my phone. My hydration has improved significantly with almost zero effort. Consider your own life. Do you always put your keys in the same place when you get home? Do you check social media at specific times? Do you have a particular route you walk with your dog? These are all potential anchors for habit stacking. Choosing the right habits to stack. Not all habit pairings are created equal. The key to successful habit stacking is choosing the right combinations. Here are 4 principles to guide your choices. First, ensure there's a logical connection between your existing habit and the new one. They should make sense together, either by location, theme, or timing. For example, stacking do 10 squats after brushing teeth works because both happen in the bathroom. But stacking check your investment portfolio after brushing teeth might feel disconnected. Second, start incredibly small. This is crucial. When people fail at habit stacking, it's often because they try to add habits that are too big or time consuming. If you're stacking, after I finish breakfast, I will exercise, don't start with a 30-minute workout. Start with something you can do in less than 2 minutes, like 10 jumping jacks or a single push up. Third, consider the context. Make sure your new habit can be performed in the same location as your existing one. If your trigger habit happens in the kitchen, choose a new habit that can also be done in the kitchen. Changing locations creates friction that makes the habit less likely to stick. Finally, be consistent with timing. Try to stack habits that occur at the same time every day. Consistency helps your brain form stronger associations between the cue and the new behavior. Let me share an example from one of my viewers, Mark. He wanted to practice gratitude daily but kept forgetting. He noticed he always charged his phone before bed, so he stacked. After I plug in my phone to charge, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. He placed a gratitude journal right next to his phone charger. 6 months later, he hasn't missed a day of gratitude journaling. Remember that habit you were thinking about at the beginning of this video? Let's consider how you might stack it onto an existing habit in your life. What do you already do consistently that could serve as the foundation? Let's look at some practical examples of habit stacking across different areas of life. These are real examples that have worked for me and for members of our Dawn Catalyst community. For physical health, after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do 10 push-ups. After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into workout clothes. After I pour my morning coffee, I will drink a full glass of water. After I sit down for lunch, I will take a deep breath and eat mindfully for the first 3 bites. For mental well-being, after I get into bed, I will practice deep breathing for 1 minute. After I start my car, I will state one thing I'm looking forward to that day. After I shower, I will repeat 3 positive affirmations while looking in the mirror. After I close my laptop at the end of the workday, I will write down one win from the day. For productivity, after I log into my computer, I will work on my most important task for 10 minutes before checking email. After I finish my morning meeting, I will clear my desk of clutter. After I make my afternoon coffee, I will review my to-do list and identify the next priority. After I brush my teeth at night, I will lay out my clothes for the next day. For learning, after I finish dinner, I will read 1 page of a book. After I put on my headphones for my commute, I will play an educational podcast instead of music. After I make my bed in the morning, I will review one flashcard for a language I'm learning. After I get into the elevator at work, I will mentally review one new fact I learned recently. These examples work because they're specific, small, and clearly connected to existing habits. Notice how none of these require more than a few minutes to complete. Starting small is crucial for success. One of my favorite personal examples is how I built a daily reading habit. I always have a cup of herbal tea after dinner while sitting on my couch. I started placing a book next to my tea canister. My formula became, after I prepare my evening tea, I will read at least one page of my book while drinking it. Most nights I end up reading much more, but the initial commitment was just one page. That tiny commitment got me started, and now I've read over 30 books in the past year using this method. Now let's create your personal habit stacking plan. Grab a pen and paper if you can, or just make mental notes as we go through these 4 steps. Step 1, identify one habit you want to develop. Choose something small and specific. Instead of exercise more, pick do 5 push ups daily or stretch for 2 minutes. Remember, you can always scale up later. Step 2, list your reliable existing habits, those behaviors you do every day without fail. These are your potential anchors. Examples might include making your bed, brushing your teeth, brewing coffee or tea, taking a shower, starting your car, arriving at your desk, eating meals, changing clothes after work, watching TV in the evening, getting into bed. Step 3, find the perfect match. Look for an existing habit that happens at an ideal time of day for your new habit, occurs in the same location where you want to perform your new habit, creates a logical flow with your new habit. Step 4, write your habit stacking formula. After I current habit, I will new habit. Be extremely specific about when and where this will happen. For example, if you want to start a journaling practice, your formula might be, after I place my coffee mug in the sink each morning, I will write one sentence in my journal which is placed next to the sink. The key is to make the connection so obvious that you can't miss the cue. Some people even use visual reminders at first. If you want to do a quick stretching routine after your morning shower, hang a yoga mat over your towel rack so you see it immediately. I'll tell you how I used this approach to develop a meditation habit. My formula was, after I close my laptop for lunch, I will set a timer and meditate for just 2 minutes before eating. I kept a small cushion under my desk as a visual reminder. Now, 3 months later, meditation has become an automatic part of my midday break, and I've been able to extend the time to 10 minutes. Even with the best habit stacking plan, you'll encounter challenges. Let's troubleshoot some common issues people face. Challenge 1, I forget to do my new habit even after the cue. Solution, add visual reminders temporarily. If you're trying to floss after brushing your teeth, put the floss on top of your toothbrush or toothpaste so you can't miss it. Over time, you won't need these reminders. Challenge 2, my routine gets disrupted on weekends or during travel. Solution, create location-specific habit stacks. Have one stack for workdays and another for weekends. When traveling, identify the habits that remain consistent, like brushing teeth, and stack portable new habits onto those. Challenge 3, I feel overwhelmed trying to build multiple new habits. Solution, focus on just one habit stack at a time. Master it for at least 30 days before adding another. Remember that habit formation is a marathon, not a sprint. Challenge 4, I started strong but lost momentum after a couple of weeks. Solution, your new habit might be too big. Scale back to something so small it feels almost ridiculous. Want to write daily? Start with writing just one sentence. Want to exercise? Begin with a single push-up. One viewer, Lisa, shared her experience. I kept forgetting to take my vitamins until I stacked them with making my morning smoothie. I put the vitamin bottle in front of the blender, so I couldn't make my smoothie without seeing them. Haven't missed a day in months. Another common issue is choosing the wrong anchor habit. If you're not consistently performing your existing habit, it can't reliably trigger your new one. For example, if you want to journal after meditating, but you only meditate twice a week, you need a different anchor for your journaling habit. Remember, missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new pattern. If you miss your habit stack, make a point of returning to it immediately the next day. Once you've successfully established a habit stack for at least 30 days, You can begin to scale up in three ways. First, you can increase the complexity or duration of your new habit. If you started with one push up after brushing your teeth, gradually increase to 5, then 10. If you began with 1 minute of meditation, extend it to 3, then 5 minutes. Second, you can create habit chains by stacking multiple habits in sequence. This looks like after I habit A, I will habit B. After I habit B, I will habit C. For example, after I finish my morning coffee, I will meditate for 3 minutes. After I meditate, I will write my three main priorities for the day. Third, you can identify new anchor points throughout your day and attach different habits to them. Maybe you already have a morning stack, but you could add an afternoon stack linked to your lunch break and an evening stack linked to dinner. I've developed multiple habit chains throughout my day. My morning chain looks like this. After I turn off my alarm, I drink a glass of water. After drinking water, I make my bed. After making my bed, I do 5 minutes of stretching. These three habits flow naturally from one to the next, and I complete them without thinking. The real power of habit stacking emerges when you start linking these small behaviors into longer sequences. Over time, these habit chains can transform your entire day, building a foundation for productivity, well-being, and personal growth. Emily, a longtime viewer, shared how she built an impressive morning routine one small habit at a time. I started with just drinking water after waking up. Once that was automatic, I added making my bed after drinking water. Then I added 3 minutes of stretching after making my bed. 6 months later, I have a 30-minute morning routine built entirely through habit stacking, and it feels completely natural. How do you know if your habit stacking is working? Success is not necessarily measured by perfect adherence, but by increasing consistency over time. Consider tracking your habits with a simple method like a calendar or habit tracking app. Put an X on each day you complete your habit stack. Your goal is to build a chain of excess that you don't want to break. This visual record can be incredibly motivating. But remember, tracking itself is a habit that needs to be stacked. Try, after I brush my teeth at night, I will mark my habit tracker, which is placed on my nightstand. If you find you're consistently missing a particular habit stack, don't get discouraged. This is valuable data. Ask yourself, is my cue clearly defined? Is my new habit too ambitious? Is there a more reliable anchor habit I could use? Is the location convenient for performing both habits? Be willing to adjust your formula. Maybe, after I finish breakfast, isn't working as a cue for reading because your mornings are rushed. Try, after I get into bed instead. The goal is progress, not perfection. If you're doing your new habit 80% of the time, that's a massive win compared to not doing it at all. One of our community members, Michael, shared, I tried habit stacking meditation after my morning coffee, but I found I was too anxious to sit still. I switched to stacking it after my evening shower when I'm more relaxed, and suddenly it clicked. I've meditated every day for 3 months now. Conclusion. We've covered a lot today, from understanding the science behind habit stacking to creating your own personalized plan. Remember, the power of habit stacking lies in its simplicity, using behaviors you already do automatically as triggers for new habits you want to develop. The key takeaways from today are: start incredibly small with your new habits. Choose anchor habits that are truly automatic for you. Be specific about when and where your habit stack will occur. Use visual reminders initially if needed. Track your progress to maintain motivation. Be willing to adjust if something isn't working. The beauty of habit stacking is that it works with your brain's natural tendencies rather than fighting against them. It eliminates the need for willpower and motivation by connecting new behaviors directly to established ones. So, what habit are you going to stack first? Think about that initial habit you identified at the beginning of this video. Now that you understand habit stacking, do you have a clear formula for making it stick? Remember, sustainable change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through tiny improvements, consistently applied. As James Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Habit stacking helps you build systems that make positive behaviors inevitable. If you found today's discussion helpful, I'd love to have you join our Dawn Catalyst community. Each day, we explore a different topic to help you optimize your life, productivity, and well-being through science-backed strategies like the one we discussed today. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about how to overcome perfectionism and actually finish the projects you start. You definitely don't want to miss that one. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our daily discussions. And if habit stacking has worked for you, or if you have questions, leave a comment below. I personally read every comment and love hearing about your experiences. Finally, if you know someone who's been struggling to build consistent habits, share this video with them. Sometimes the simplest strategies make the biggest difference. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Now go stack that first habit, and I'll see you tomorrow on Dawn Catalyst.